What I'm about to tell you happened 2 years ago on one of those nights when exhaustion makes you do something incredibly stupid. My name is Tomás, and back then, I worked as a night delivery driver. I drove a white van, making deliveries between cities in the early hours of the morning. Those dead hours when the roads are empty and it feels like the whole world is asleep. It was a November night. It had been raining for hours. The kind of steady, hypnotic rain that lulls you into a trance. I had been driving for 5 hours straight, my eyes heavy, with 2 deliveries left before I could finally go home. The last one was to a small town up north, one of those places that barely show up on the map. I was on the highway when I saw the detour. It wasn't my usual route, but the GPS said it would get me there 30 minutes faster. A narrow secondary road cutting through the forest. I hesitated for a moment, but exhaustion won over caution. I took the detour. The road was narrow, barely 2 lanes wide, and completely unlit. The trees on both sides formed a natural tunnel, blocking almost all the moonlight. All that existed was the beam of my headlights cutting through the darkness, the rhythmic sound of the wipers, and that heavy silence you only find in the middle of nowhere. After about 20 minutes, I noticed something strange. I hadn't seen a single car, not one. No headlights coming toward me, no taillights ahead, nothing parked on the sides, just me, alone on an endless road. I tried changing radio stations to stay awake, but all I got was static. Every channel, nothing but static. A constant white noise that gnawed at my nerves. Then I saw the sign. Old, rusted, barely visible through the rain and vegetation. Kilometer 237. I didn't think much of it and kept driving. 5 minutes later, another sign. Kilometer 237. I frowned. That couldn't be right. I'd been driving non-stop. I checked the speedometer, 80 kilometers per hour. Everything seemed normal. 10 minutes later, again, Kilometer 237. A chill went down my spine. Something wasn't right. I pressed the accelerator, wanting to get off that damned road as fast as possible. That's when I saw it in the rearview mirror. Something was standing in the middle of the road behind me. A figure. I hit the brakes instinctively, staring into the mirror. It was still there, motionless under the rain. It looked like a person, but something about its posture was all wrong. Completely still, face in my van. The rain and darkness made it blurry, just a tall, thin silhouette. My heart was pounding. I thought about backing up to see if it needed help, but something deep inside me screamed, "Don't." So I didn't. I stepped on the gas and kept going. I checked the mirror again. The figure was still there, smaller now, fading into the darkness. I exhaled, relief, but it didn't last. Because 2 minutes later, when I looked at the mirror again, the figure was back, the same distance behind me as before. "That's impossible," I muttered. There was no way anyone could keep up with me at that speed. I accelerated. 100 kilometers per hour. 110. The van rattled through the curves, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get away. Another glance at the mirror. The figure was closer, much closer, and this time, I could see it more clearly. It wasn't walking. It wasn't running. It was just there, a little closer every time I blinked. Panic flooded my chest. I floored the accelerator. The road grew tighter, darker, and on every passing post, the same sign flashed by again and again. Kilometer 237. I looked back. The figure was less than 20 meters away, and then I saw its face. Or rather, the absence of a face. Just a smooth, pale oval. No eyes, no mouth, nothing, only emptiness staring back at me. I screamed and swerved to avoid something in the road. I don't know what. Maybe nothing, maybe everything. The van skidded, the tires screeched, and for a second, I thought it would flip. I regained control and looked in the mirror again. The figure was gone until I turned my head and saw it beside my window, running next to me at 120 kilometers per hour. Its faceless head tilted toward me, its unnaturally long arms hanging loosely at its sides. It was moving with impossible grace. I couldn't scream. I couldn't breathe. I could only drive. Then it raised one of its hands toward the window. Long, bony fingers. Too many joints. It started tapping the glass. Softly at first, then harder and harder. Cracks spread across the window. I squeezed my eyes shut, praying it was all a hallucination brought on by exhaustion. When I opened them, it was gone. But right in front of me, standing in the middle of the road, was another figure. Identical. I didn't have time to brake. I drove straight through it. There was no impact, no sound, just an icy sensation that pierced through my body, like plunging into freezing water. Then, everything changed. It wasn't raining anymore. The asphalt was dry, and on both sides of the road, there was nothing. No trees, no ground, just black, infinite emptiness. It felt like the world had been erased, leaving only this endless road floating in darkness. The speedometer still read 120, but I didn't feel like I was moving. It was like being trapped in an eternal treadmill. And the signs kept appearing, one after another, all the same. Kilometer 237. Kilometer 237. Kilometer 237. Then I heard it, a voice coming from the radio, through the static. Stop. It was flat, emotionless, like multiple people speaking at once. You can't leave. Stop. I slapped the radio off, but the voice didn't stop. Now it was coming from everywhere. The dashboard, the seats, the walls of the van. Kilometer 237. No exit. Stop. I covered my ears, but the voice was inside my head. I don't know how long I kept driving. Minutes. Hours. Time had stopped meaning anything. All that existed was the road, the darkness, and that whispering voice. And then, suddenly, it all ended. The road looked normal again. The forest reappeared on both sides. Rain started falling. The radio played a random song. And ahead, I saw an intersection. A way out. I turned the wheel desperately and took the exit. I didn't look back. I didn't want to see if something was following me. I drove for 20 more minutes until I found a rest area. I stopped, got out, and vomited onto the wet grass. When I could finally breathe again, I checked my phone. 34 missed calls from my boss. The clock read 6:23 a.m. I had entered that road at 1:40 a.m. 5 hours. I had been driving for 5 hours on a road that, according to the map, should have taken 30 minutes to cross. I never made those deliveries. I quit the next morning. But sometimes, when I drive at night, I still see a sign. Kilometer 237. On roads where it doesn't belong. And I feel like that road is still out there, waiting for me, waiting for the right moment to bring me back. And this time, there won't be a way out.